I think we got some really strong questions to ask today on Trending in the AM. One, should the Eagles break the bank in a trade for Myles Garrett this offseason? It's something that a lot of people want to talk about or think about. Two, I was going to ask, should the Sixers shut down Joel Embiid? But I think I'm going to pivot that question to why haven't they shut down Joel Embiid? And three, will the Phillies and Rob Thomson actually follow through and move Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot for Trey Turner? Those questions and more we're going to dive into today. It's Overreaction Monday on Trending in the AM. We're live in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please, wherever you're watching, YouTube, Twitter, please smash that like button, smash that subscribe or follow button, and smash that share button. It's free to do. It's free to support a local content creator. It's free to support a local channel. Guys, if you're watching on Twitter, I ask you, please head over to the STT Sports Network YouTube page. Hit subscribe over there. The race to 500 subscribers is on. Starting the day at 4:43. Not too shabby. A little bit of growth this weekend. So the race is on. Please subscribe, share it out, tell a friend. Tell all. This is the morning show. This is the place to be, to have your opinions heard and mattered. Again, free to do it. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge. And guys, got lots I want to discuss today. Phillies, Sixers, Eagles. I want to talk about it all. I want to talk about Myles Garrett to the Eagles. I want to talk the leadoff spot for the Phillies. But unfortunately, after this weekend, I think we've got to kick today's Monday show off with a little Joel Embiid frustration discussion, because he is frustrating at this point, frustrating beyond all belief at this point, with where he is in his career. And the question was, should the Sixers shut him down for the rest of the season? But the question really should be, why haven't they shut him down for the rest of the season? Obviously, the Sixers team is going absolutely nowhere. Nowhere. And they still are trying to trot him out there every few nights, every few weeks, whenever they can, to get something out of him. And I think they're doing not just the fans, not just the team, but Joel Embiid himself a disservice by forcing something that just doesn't need to be forced. See, this Sixers team is obviously not going anywhere in 2025. They're obviously a losing team. Joel Embiid is not healthy, not even remotely, but yet he got benched on Saturday night for the entire fourth quarter, and yet they're still listing him for tonight's game as game time decision. And I think that the Sixers management, Sixers front office, whatever you want to call it, are just dragging this out way too long. Let's get right to the comments, because we got other comments coming in. Nooms, short of a 7-foot cadaver, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you a $200 million Jeff Rulin, basically. And I love that comment to kick off the show, because that's basically where we're at. Who knows where we're at? Anthony, good morning. Ian Rappaport is reporting that the Cowboys front office has had discussions about trading for him. You're talking about Myles Garrett. Obviously, that's the question about Myles Garrett. You have to break the bank, because there is probably a dozen teams that you are realistically competing for with Myles Garrett. That's if Myles Garrett even goes. I've heard rumors that the Browns would like to extend him and keep him in Cleveland. I don't know why they would do that, but that's a comment, a question that they need to be asked. Wouldn't mind getting Myles Garrett, but definitely don't break the bank for him, as he's close to 30. He is 30 or about to turn 30, yeah. And the Eagles do have two young stud pass rushers. Absolutely. Look, you got to inquire. I wouldn't fault Howie for inquiring about Myles Garrett. But if it's going to cost what I think it's going to cost to get Myles Garrett, I'm not doing it. Again, I was wrong about breaking the bank for Saquon Barkley last year. So who am I to judge what's valuable and what's not? No, sorry. So Cowboys want to trade Micah Parsons. Yeah, I'm sure they do. The Cowboys are a disaster. Of course, they would try to trade Micah. The Cowboys are so poorly built cap structure-wise, and the contracts they give out to Dak and CD are going to make it very hard for them to compete long-term right now. Dallas already can't afford Parsons. They ain't trading for Garrett yet. I mean, they're going to call. I mean, that's Dallas. But, yeah, exactly. Mike Jaminski, baby. Let's go. Mike Jaminski. There's a blast from the past right there. Look, Joel Embiid's knees are completely, utterly shot right now. And I don't even know if shutting him down solves any problems. I don't know if there's a surgery that even exists. We'll get to that in a second. But there is no reason why the Sixers would even remotely continue to trot him out there right now. There's no good. There's nothing good that comes from playing him right now. Nothing at all. There's nothing good from playing him or Paul George, honestly, at this point. There's literally no good that comes out of Joel Embiid on the court. But yet they're still trying to string us along, string him along, string the team along, and it's frustrating. The most I would trade for Myles is a first and a third. Like a first this year and a third this year. I don't think that's enough, obviously. But I wouldn't want to give up 2 draft picks, honestly, this year. I would do something like this year's first and the third next year we got from the Jets in the Hassan Reddick deal. Sure. You also got to understand I got his contract up here somewhere. Hold on, that's not the right one. There it is. He's going to be 30 this year. He's got 2 years left on a deal. He's got about a $40 million cap hit over the next 2 years. Now, Howie would probably renegotiate that, restructure that if they traded for him. But that's going to be it. That's not going to be enough. Joel News is sad. I lost respect for the guy, but the last part of his career, it is like, you could say you lost respect for Joel Embiid, Marshawn. And I mean, I can too, I guess, to an extent. But you got to have a little bit of, I don't want to use the word pity. You got to feel bad for the guy a little bit. The guy has tried to bring a title to this city. He's failed, but he has tried. And I feel bad that the organization is still trying to push him out there every day. Like, there's no reason why he's not already been ruled out for tonight's game. Other than one thing, ticket sales. I don't even know if tonight's game's a home game or not. I think it is, because I think you get tickets for $2 tonight. It's at a situation with Joel Embiid where there's a chance that, the first comment of the day was from Nooms about Jeff Rulin. There's a chance Joel Embiid could never play a basketball game again. Like, his knees are that potentially shot. There's potential that we don't even know what's wrong with his knees, honestly, at this point. Let's be honest. We don't know what's wrong. They just might be shot. That we might be in a position where Joel Embiid just shouldn't play basketball ever again. Joel Embiid should just call it a career after this year. Yao Ming calling it an early career. Greg Oden and that shot knee. Like, we legitly might be looking at that. And we should have seen, we saw it coming. The organization should have saw this coming a mile away. And they didn't. And it's pretty sad. And the play that he came out before, or the last defensive play that he made before he came out of the game on Saturday, where he just running and flailing in the air trying to block a shot, they had no chance, and he goes down and doesn't play. That could be the last, like, in theory. It's not a high chance, but in theory, that could be the last play of Joel Embiid's career. Like, his knees are that shot because there's nothing they can do about it. There's nothing to do about it. This is a pretty deep defensive line draft. Myles Garrett is unlikely. Yeah, it's unlikely. My question is more along of what would be the max value you would give compared to what, I would think that a first and third would get beat. I'm going to throw this hypothetical. You trade a first, a third, and say Jordan Howard. Is that enough? Would you do that? Honestly, as long as we have Lane and Jordan, I'm not scared if Myles goes to the Lions. The Lions need him. I mean, I know they had a lot of injured players, but I think the Lions also, have a lot of depth there. I see Washington making a big push. Obviously, they gave up a lot of points. They lost to us. What would we score? 50 on them, 55 on them in the playoffs. So they're going to want to shore up their defense, get more pressure on Jalen Hurts and the quarterbacks in the NFL. I can see Washington making a big play for Myles Garrett. Do you want to overtrade for him to keep him away from Washington? That would be a theory there. Shil Kapadia said he thinks it will take 2 firsts and 2 thirds. I see 2 firsts. If you call Cleveland and don't offer 2 firsts plus Anthony, I say Cleveland would hang up the phone. Plain and simple. Joel Embiid did everything his knees allowed him to do. Unfortunately, winning and being healthy are not in the cards for him. Yeah. Marshawn, those knees, we talked about it on this show before we tried to give up on talking about the Sixers. We talked about during the moment when the extension was given to Joel Embiid, that why would they give an extension to a player that they had to consult 6 additional doctors to say, good job, the knees are okay. To find one person to say it's okay to give an extension out, you need to consult 6 outside doctors on top of your own to give you the approval. That tells you all you need to know. Now we're in a position where they got to consult those same 6 doctors to see what they could do to get him to 70% of what he used to be. I don't even know if that's possible at this point. Good morning, Lil G. Hope you are well. Like and subscribe and share, guys. 76ers front office should have known the severity of Embiid's knees, but they didn't. Instead, they threw $1 billion at him. Typical piss-poor front office decisions that have hampered this franchise. Yeah. I think that you can blame Joel. You can lose respect for Joel. You can X, Y, and Z with Joel. But I think the biggest culprit here is the front office for putting the team in the position they are in, Rick. I truly believe that the front office has as much, if not more, to blame. Joel ain't been the same after scoring 70 points against the Spurs. It was literally downhill from there. Like, it got bad right away. Like, he's slow. You know what's crazy, Marshawn? Here's something that tells me that Joel Embiid knows he's toast. Joel Embiid got benched for an entire 4th quarter of a game. He didn't speak to the media after the game, but he hasn't done anything. Like, he didn't pout. He didn't cry. He didn't bitch and moan. He didn't stir up drama. He didn't say anything positive. He's just mentally, because of the pain he's put through on a daily basis, he basically is giving up. Like, he doesn't care. Well, maybe he does. Not that he doesn't care. He just doesn't. He knows what's going on. Lions have the money for money. It's not the money. It's the need. I mean, they've got great guys there at the edge. It's, do they have the need to invest in that versus other things? Good morning, Josh Allen's wasted career. How are you? Starting the day at 443 subscribers. Can we get to 450 today? Can we? I'm sorry, when you extend a guy without doing the medical test that needed. But see, the thing is, they didn't just do the medical testing, Big Al. They brought in 6 independent doctors to find one that would approve it, I believe. That's, when you need that many outside opinions, red flag, should be going off. Wouldn't be shocked to see the Eagles make a move for Chase Young at a modest level deal that ends up being fruitful for. Is Chase Young a free agent? I know Chase Young's had issues in his career, like effort issue or questions. But he was a super talented guy coming out. wouldn't be against Chase Young. You know, you still got to remember, you got Nolan Smith, you got Alex Hunt, you still technically got Bryce Huff. I have a feeling Bryce Huff will be here because of that contract. So another rotational piece would probably be more suited on the outside than going and breaking the bank for Myles Garrett at this point. I'm not trading this year and next year's first, a third-round pick, and then something else for Myles Garrett, not at 30 years old. Now, I don't know when the wheels fall off a defensive end compared to running back, wide receiver. I mean, Brandon Graham's an anomaly playing so high level at 36 in a short thing. But you got to think you're going to have to extend him if you trade for him because he's got 2 years, $40 million left on his cap hit portion of his deal. You know, I'm not going to trade 2 firsts, a third, and something else, and then go give him a 3-year, $80 million extension on that. If that's the case, you might as well just give Josh Sweat 3 years and $60 million. At least you know what you're getting there. I was with Joel until they played us on them injury reports. I was out the stringing of fans along. But see, the thing is, I don't think the stringing us along is on Joel. The getting healthy is on Joel to an extent. The staying in shape's on Joel. The learning how to play within the confines of your abilities is on Joel. But the stringing us along, that's on management. That's on ownership. That's on the GM. That's trying to sell tickets to a game. I saw the Sixers are still like the 3rd highest average attendance this year in the NBA. It's pathetic. Chase stinks. Chase who? Not Lamar Chase. I know who you're talking about. Sorry. Chase Young. No, he does not stink. He's good. Good morning, Duck. F the Sixers. No, we should spend the money on keeping a few guys from the Super Bowl winning team. Yeah, absolutely. You go out and break the bank on Myles Garrett. You got to understand, out of the 3 big, Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton, and Milton Williams, you're only keeping 1. Even with a contract extension or whatever you're going to give him. Absolutely. It's going to cost you, a lot. Leonard Floyd is a better option. I haven't really gotten into who are the other free agents that we could bring in. I got to start doing some research on them. You don't reward Joel and blame the front office. He played in the Olympics. He was healthy at that contract signing. Josh Harris, in a way, deserves this Philly ending. You don't reward Joel and blame the front office. He played in the Olympics. Yeah, and all this talk about the Olympics ruined him. There's no proof out there that the Olympics did any harm. Maybe you can make an argument that it slowed his healing from last year, but there's no proof of that. There's also, I got a tweet from, everyone says just Joel Embiid, go get surgery. This is a tweet from Zach Chavalella from PSN, Metro Philly, and it's really interesting. I've had many people say to me that Joel Embiid should just have the surgery. The only problem is that the surgery may not exist. We don't know what the condition of the knee is, but unless there's debris or a tear, which they haven't told us, what surgery do we want him to get? I really think it's just like Noom said. It's a Garland, it's a Ruland, it's a Greg Oden, it's a Yao Ming situation where the guy's just shot. The knee can't be healed. A surgery doesn't exist to fix a degenerative, falling apart knee. How much do the Eagles have for Gainwell, or how much do? Well, we've got Will Shipley, but I'm sure they'll add another running back. Shitty front offices are the reason the Sixers and Flyers haven't won championship in close to half a century. Shit rolls downhill. Bad front office equals bad teams. And that's what sets the Eagles apart from the Sixers and the Flyers so much, Rick, is the fact that they have such great front offices. Since they do such a great job in not just signing and letting go players at the right time, but being transparent with the fan base. Transparency with the fan base goes a long way. Bryce Huff might surprise us. I am not totally against, the theory that Bryce Huff has a redemption tour next year. Now, there's rumors that he's moping around, with not playing in the Super Bowl and stuff like that. But with his contract, with his, cap hit for trading him or cutting him, I mean, you might as well at least give it a shot, right? One MRI could have answered the question 100 doctors could have. You telling me they didn't do one MRI or one CAT scan or one scan of some kind on that knee? I'm sure they did. And that's why they had to call so many doctors. Okay, no, it looks iffy. But give us the okay here. Somebody, anybody, give us the okay. Not giving up from Bryce Huff just yet. I wasn't. Then I heard the talk about how he was, a problem, and he's saying things which I couldn't find. But look, unless you find a way to trade him and alleviate that cap hit, I don't know how you get off of him this year. If I am 76ers, I would assemble my league team, K1 and Daychar, go after breach and knee. Like, I don't know what you do. And I know sports teams, sports owners take out insurance on players when they sign big contracts in case the player can't, fulfill their contract. Insurances will back it up and all. But unless he chooses to retire, which I don't know why he would do that, he's got $200 million of reasons not to retire, then this is going to be an ongoing issue for a long time, because at this point, after what we saw on Saturday, after all the reports coming out of Philly since Saturday night, there is not one team in the NBA that would take Joel Embiid on. Not one. Not one. Did you know Nolan Smith played with a torn tricep? I saw that this weekend. God damn, that's one. First, you had Cam Jurgens playing with a bad back that needed surgery. Landon Dickerson's got to have knee surgery. He played in the Super Bowl. And now Nolan Smith, it comes out, had tricep surgery. He had a torn tricep in the Super Bowl. And I know you're bringing this on because of the depth and edge in the Myles Garrett conversation, but Nolan Smith should be ready to go for the start of the season. Surgery ain't fixing Joel. He needs a new pair of knees. Yeah. And I agree with that. I do. NBA should institute relegation like soccer does in Europe. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. What knee tear? He doesn't have knees anymore. He probably doesn't have cartilage between his knees and the bones are rubbing. I mean, it very well could be what it is. It's a degenerative problem. Degenerative problems can't be fixed by surgery. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Nothing you could do about it. A total knee replacement for a 7-foot monster. He may be cooked, period, end of sentence. And what do? He is not going to walk away. Joel Embiid is not going to leave the $200 million on the table. So this is going to be a 4-year process. So the process isn't over. The process is going to be now just different. It's going to be a 4-year process of thinking and being told Joel Embiid is rehabbing and working and this and that. Bryce Huff cannot rush without falling. He can't even rush consistently. He struggled. He struggled greatly. The Phillies win. Look, that's the third question of the day. We keep being told that the Phillies and Rob Thomson are going to make moves and change the lineup. Am I the only person that sits here and says, I don't believe the lineup change will happen until the lineup change happens? Huff will become a locker room cancer or put him on IR and keep him from the team. Oh, can't put him on IR when he's making $20 million. I don't know what you do with Bryce Huff. I really don't know. You got to hope you can find a way to motivate the guy to come in better shape, to learn the system better, and to adjust better. You got to hope. Otherwise, I don't know what to do. Rest in peace to the process. I mean, Brian, it's a shame that we've come to this. It's a shame that this is where we are at now. I almost feel bad more so than anything else for the Sixers. I feel bad for Tyrese Maxey. I feel bad for Jarrett McCain. I don't feel bad for Nick Nurse anymore. He's kind of quit. He's hoping to get fired. I feel bad for the suckers that paid season ticket money and are getting robbed. I feel bad for the announcers and the reporters that got to cover this team and just try to sell us that this team still has a chance? Because that's what they're doing. They're constantly trying to tell us that they still got a chance. Watch Howie pay Reddick. I've seen a few people make that joke, Marshawn. That would be kind of funny. Can we trade Reddick for Reddick and trade up, give up Bryce Huff in the trade? Just send him back. Zach, good morning. How are you? I hope you are well. When are you going to stop talking about the Eagles and talk? The Phillies are one of the three questions of the day. And I just asked the first question of the day for the Phillies. Are you believing that all of a sudden the obvious decision to move Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot for Trey Turner is actually going to be done? And then here's part two of that question. If Trey Turner struggles or Kyle Schwarber struggles in a very small sample size in a new position, how quickly will Rob Thomson resort back to, well, Kyle Schwarber's struggling, so I'm going to put him back in the leadoff spot to get him going and blah, blah, blah. I don't believe Rob Thomson until I see Rob Thomson do it. That's just my opinion. So, Zach, we can talk Phillies all you want. I would gladly answer and ask and discuss anything Phillies related. Anything. Relegation is when a team is dropped to a lower tier if they are a bad team. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. I didn't know what the term was. So you got like I know what you're talking about. Gotcha. I didn't know there was a term for that, but I know what you're saying in that description. Sixers process worse than the Cowboys process. I hate it here. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a long next couple months. It really is, Marshawn. They will also promote teams. Yes, yeah. I get it. I got you. Thank you. Now that you explained it, now I feel dumb not realizing that there was an actual term for it. I don't see a lineup change happening. Schwarber hits leadoff opening day. That's just one of those things where I just don't believe, because Rob Thomson should have done it multiple times, Freddie, and he hasn't. And Rob Thomson is one stubborn SOB. I just don't see it happening. The quack physician should have to pay his salary. Would JoJo erase all the hate if he retired? You know what? If Joel Embiid really cared about the Sixers organization fans, he would just retire. He's already made $500 million, probably, or ballpark. He's got more money than he needs. The pain is too much for him. He's already said the pain is excruciating. Just retire. Save the franchise. What was the saying from Heroes? Save the cheerleaders, save the world. Save the fan base, save the franchise. Just retire. You like that random Heroes reference? Bryce Huff, 6 sacks in 2025. That would be like tripling his output of 2024, right? Philly sports front office, aside from the Eagles, are a bunch of politicians promising the fan base the moon. We can't be suckers for it anymore. And I agree, Marshawn. I think we need to be louder and pound the table more and call these front offices out for their bogus, lousy, lying, cheating attitudes and way they treat us. The process has restarted. They will be tanking for the next 4 years. Honestly, at this point, Big Al, if they decided to tank, I think it's a longer process than even that at this point, because they've got some bad contracts that they got to be able to move on from in Joel and Paul George, which I don't know how you move on from them. And then, in theory, in 4-6 years, Tyrese Maxey might not be even on this team anymore. I feel bad out of the players, I feel bad for Tyrese Maxey the most. That kid is losing his spark. He's losing his smile. The thing that makes him so special, that fun, youthful personality he has, he's losing it. And I hate that. I hate it so much that he's losing it. Huff will be Reddick allegedly and kill our season like 23 if we don't do something to keep him away from these young, motivated players. But, Duck, the question is, what do you do with Bryce Huff? Are you really going to take a $20 million cap hit to move on from him? I don't know. It's a huge cap hit. Why are we acting like we didn't know Embiid's career was going to end early? We were talking about this 5 years ago. That's why Elton Brand traded everything for Butler and Harris. It's a great point. And they should have ran it back. They should have done the right thing at that moment. They should have fired Brett Brown, brought in a new coach, and kept Butler, Harris, and the whole team together, I guarantee that next year with a new coach, that team might have won a title. No trade is impossible. Luka went for one first. That's true. No trade is impossible. Here's a question. You need to get off Joel Embiid's contract, and you need to be able to start the rebuild over again. You got to get off of it. Are you willing to include Tyrese Maxey or Jarrett McCain in a trade for Joel Embiid to get off of that? I mean, you're not going to win for the next 4 years. Would you do it? Team says, I will give you 2 first-round picks for Joel Embiid, but I want you to include Maxey or McCain. Would you do it? I'm just going to say it. Redick is a bad team guy. He had a lot to do with, yes, he did. Absolutely. But they're also comparing Rick that supposedly there's some rumors floating around that Bryce Huff is similar in the sense where he's a problem as well. That is a bad idea. Do you put Trey Turner in leadoff? That dude is a strikeout machine. He hits nothing but air. The theory is he would strike out less leading off. He would change his batting approach leading off. That's just the theory. He is best suited, supposedly, as a leadoff hitter. I've kind of gotten over the Kyle Schwarber as a leadoff hitter thing. It doesn't frustrate me like it used to. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But they're really pushing this theory that he's going to be the leadoff hitter, and I just don't believe it till I see it. Did Jimmy Butler really turn down a contract extension from the Sixers because he really didn't want to be in Philly? Hard to fathom. I think Jimmy Butler didn't. I don't know if there was a contract on the table that he turned down, or before the contract got there, they never got to that point because he didn't want to. Everyone says, oh, they chose Tobias over Jimmy. They didn't. They chose Brett Brown and Ben Simmons. He wanted Brett Brown gone. He wanted a coach that demanded more. I think he would have stayed with Ben Simmons if a new coach was brought in, whoever that may be. I don't know. He wanted a coach that held the team accountable. I remember back then, I put out a tweet like in 2020 or something like that Brett Brown needed to bench Ben Simmons mid-game because he had like 9 turnovers in the first half. They didn't bench him. And then later on in that game, we lost because Ben Simmons ended up with like 12 turnovers. There was no accountability under Brett Brown. That's what drove Jimmy Butler elsewhere. Now, that was the mistake. What if he wants a house that is $500 million? Well, and he's also got a supermodel wife that brings in a lot of money too. I think Topper is feeling the stress of 3 straight regressions. I think he will absolutely try different stuff now, hoping something works. I think that's a fair comment. Maybe he does. He only got a 1-year extension, Anthony. Maybe he does feel some pressure. Maybe he feels like he's on the hot seat a little bit. And he does realize that the front office made 0 changes to his coaching staff, to the team. So you're basically running back the same offense with Max Kepler out there, and that's it. So maybe he feels a little pressure. Maybe that does force him to try it. But here's the question. If he tries something different and it doesn't work out in 2 weeks, does he flip it back? Trade Maxey, not the first time I said this. Honestly, it breaks my heart, Marshawn, to even agree with this. But honestly, are the Sixers going to be good enough in the next 2 to 3 years to keep him? Isn't he a luxury? Isn't he, honestly, the person on the Sixers right now that would bring back the most draft picks in return? Just saying. Sixers have bad contracts, but great young players are cheap. Yeah, mid-maxi. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, K1. How are you? Hope you're good. Guess who's back in the field for the Cognizant Classic? I'm cognizant that Christian Buzulu is back in the field this week. Agreed. Philly fans need to demand excellence from all our sports franchises. They'll treat us how we let them treat us. Demand greatness, or we give them none of our money. Plain and simple. Don't give them the money. So Maxey is becoming a typical Philly fan. What, losing their spark, losing their smile? Maybe. I hate that Maxey had to call out Joel. Kelly Oubre had a spat with Joel because JoJo said he was being lazy on defense. I mean, JoJo, yeah. I think the Maxey calling him out, Maxey's the top of this team. But when Kelly Oubre got called out from Joel, when on that exact play Joel was lollygagging, I hate that a bigger deal wasn't made of that, Marshawn. I think that was just before the Super Bowl or just after the Super Bowl. So we're still in Eagles hype mode. So I didn't get to really dive deep into that. It's pathetic that Joel has the balls to call out Kelly Oubre when no one's allowed to call out Joel. It's pathetic. Pathetic. The Sixers did a disservice by not trading Kelly Oubre, Gorsan Yabusele, who can't even get on the floor anymore. They should have traded everybody. We're talking everything today. We've literally covered, I think we mentioned the Flyers once, but we're literally talking everything today. I'm putting a little bit of everything. Tomorrow we got the great Dale Carlson returning to the show, former coach, over 100 million games he's coached this guy. Great. We're going to talk Eagles and what the offseason message should be from the coaches following up the Super Bowl. So we're going to get the coach's perspective on the offseason for the Eagles tomorrow. I'm trading everyone, including the Sixers. Get them out and say they should have just let them move to Camden or something like that, right? Just get them out of here. Time to give Embiid and George away for nothing. Cut your losses and move forward. I think they're going to try to make an effort, Rick, to trade Paul George. The problem is, can they trade Joel? I just don't know. I don't know if they could trade Joel, plain and simple. Joel is going to be a difficult sell to a team. Talking about the Sixers is like trying to talk to an ex that keeps showing up unannounced to just yell at you that we were good. What happened? Yeah. I got stories in my head, but yeah, not for the show. Those two firsts from LA may actually be the ticket to selling Paul George or Joel. You might be able to get 2 firsts for Paul. I don't know. But here's the question. If you are going to trade those guys, do you trust Daryl Morey to make those moves? I don't. The Phillies have a bunch of Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons. Come playoff time, stakes are high, and those boys take flight. Look, I know Rick strongly disagrees with that, Marshawn. He thinks they're going to win a World Series. But this is a very accurate statement as of this moment on the last 3 years, how this Phillies team has performed. So I agree with you. I know some disagree, but I agree. Guys, you're watching Trend in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. There should be a minimum of 17 likes on this video so far. Hit that subscribe button. We started at 443 subscribers today. The race to 500 is almost there. Guys, please subscribe, and share, please. I greatly appreciate it. I don't want to happen, man. I don't want Trey Turner to be let lead off. He hasn't improved or impressed me since he got here. He sucks. I think you're maybe slightly. I mean, he doesn't suck. The guy who we talking about is Bryce Harper lead. You want Bryce Harper to lead off? I don't know about that. But I don't know if he sucks. Trey Turner's a damn good baseball player. There's a reason why he got $300 million. Now, maybe slightly overrated, maybe, but he's still a damn good player that could help be a key part in winning a World Series for us, Zach. Jimmy Butler thought Brett Brown was too completely passive, and he was, without a doubt. Jimmy Butler and Brett Brown was the reason why Jimmy Butler didn't stay here. The Phillies team needs a change in philosophy, more business-like, play more conventional. That's why they need to shake up the roster. They didn't, and that's the problem. Mitch A. Poe. We're talking a little. We're called trending in the AM. The Sixers are obviously trending with Joel Embiid's knee. So we talk what's trending, and this is what's trending this morning. Schwarber is not a bad leadoff. Dig deep into the numbers, and I agree. It's not traditional. It's not typical, but he does a solid job, and I'm over complaining about it. And I honestly think out of all the changes this team needed to make, moving Schwarber out of the leadoff spot probably is the least important of them, if that makes sense. We need guys outside of Cincinnati Park with signs saying, work the count. Yeah. We're going to get into it tomorrow, maybe, or later this week. The ABS, the automatic balls and strikes challenge thing. Saw some videos of that, and I want to get into that later this week. The Phillies team reminds me of the Eagles coming off the 23 season. Yeah. I know you feel that way. I just don't know if enough change has happened. Phil, does your wife ever ask why you're stuck at 443 subs and suggest you stop talking about the effing Sixers? Just wondering, yeah. Shout out to the wife. It was her birthday yesterday. My wife and my sweet Penelope, both one of my dogs and Melissa, there was their birthday yesterday, and I celebrated by taking her to work and making her work all day with me. That's what she wanted, but that's okay. But happy birthday to her. Joel Embiid has to know that he thinks like a dummy, leaping in the air to block a shot on bad knee. Dude, that could, in theory, probably not, but that leap in the air to block that corner three on Saturday night, Jonathan, and good morning, Jonathan, that could, in theory, be the last time Joel Embiid steps on the court as a Philadelphia 76er. In theory. Rob Thomson needs to be less of players' coach and hold. Absolutely, he needs to be less Brett Brown, and he needs to be more, I don't know who, but more, hold those players accountable. You got to. The accountability on the Phillies is weak. And not only passive, Jimmy thought Brett was extremely vague. Yeah. Morning, Steven Fuentes. Not much of a field for this week. I like the Cognizant Classic field. I like it. I do. I bet Embiid's knees suddenly get better once he's away from the Sixers. You think is he going to be Paul Pierce? Gets carried in the locker room in that playoff game, then runs out 5 minutes later? Is he like Kevin Nash in the wheelchair with the cast on his leg? Then pulls the tarp off and he stands right up? Is that what Joel Embiid's going to be like? No love for Nikolai Højgaard. I'm a Højgaard guy. Højgaard, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but yeah. Phillies have been out of the second round the past 4 years. Sixers never did that. That is true. Schwarb's at leadoff tells you how much they truly care about speed on the base pass. Yeah, it's true. Pistons are a playoff team. I thought Elton Brand was a bad GM for re-signing Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris, I would take back on this team over Paul George at this point, honestly. The fact that Harris keeps Morey in place when he's continually shown he's incompetent as a GM. Now, there's that theory that maybe Bob Myers takes over this offseason. But if I'm Bob Myers, I don't even want the job. $190 million for Joel in his condition is beyond stupid investing. Can Joel think of the idea of retirement? That is the theory. That is the hope. That is the prayer, but I doubt it. Turner was an all-star last season. Yeah, Turner's not overrated. He's a damn good baseball player. When he's a top golfer in the field, it's a weak field. Stop. Okay, guys, you can overrate trade Turner as much as you want. I'm not. I'm going to keep it a buck. He sucks. I think you're over hating on him. But your opinion's welcome. Everybody in the chat, he didn't do shit. He did not, but nobody did anything in the playoffs either. Harper are the only two people who find all those people who talk about Nick. Relax. Don't get too overworked. Don't get too overreacted there. That pot Gator, however you say his name, that boy, he withdrew from I'm cognizant that he withdrew of the Classic, just so you know. Let's Trey Turner bat ninth, so there's someone on base, but Schwarb's at the leadoff. No, I would do Stott maybe in the nine hole. Phillies refuse to shake up the roster as far as the hitters. Same old hitting style. Kevin Long still. Yeah, I agree, and that's my problem. Man, I'm far behind. I saw Dante comment it like 3 minutes ago. I'm about 3 minutes behind. Love that players can challenge balls and strikes. Yeah, I don't know all the rules yet. I have to Google. I want to get down, see how many times it's happened this first weekend of games. I love the idea that they could do it. I saw a video today. One was literally like a foot above the strike zone, and it was challenged. Good morning, Adante. I hope you are well. I hope you are good today. He blew up big time at week. Yeah, he had the lead all weekend until the pressure got to him. Yes, he did. Pot Gator. I heard every announcer pronounce his name differently. Pot Gator and Geeter, I heard all weekend. 11 likes. Not good enough. I mean, we've had 17, 20 people watching. There should be more than 12 likes now. Still at 443, though, I'm assuming. When you say you're a Højgaard guy, do you mean Rasmus or Nikolai? It depends on which event. Depends. They're two different players. What exactly is the reason why the Phillies can't get over the hump? It's a million different stories about this team. I just think there's a lack of accountability with the Phillies, mister. I do. Until ABS can actually perfect three-dimensional technology, the misleading box played on TV will continually to misform the public and overstate. Interesting. And the ABS, that's not official, right? That's not a definite thing that's happening this year. They're just testing it out here in spring training, right? Or is ABS something that's actually happening for good? I'm not sure. But, I mean, I guess it's the next step before just going to robot umpires for balls and strikes. I guess. I don't know what you do. I'm intrigued by it. The only thing with the ABS and the robot umpires for balls and strikes that, kind of bothers me, or in theory, yeah, it won't be. They're just testing it out. That's what I thought. The only thing that I think about with it, and guys, we're now pushing to 20 concurrent viewers on YouTube again. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Is I always was a big fan of like the Greg Maddoxes of the world back in the day, where they would start hitting that outside corner, and then as the game progressed, they would keep pushing it further and further outside, nibbling and working the system and, whatnot. And I always liked that. You hit that corner, then you just outside that corner, then batters start to got to think. Now they don't got to think. They just look in their zone and challenge it if they don't like it. I don't know. Good morning, Eric. The gatekeeper is here. Hope you are well. How do you fix a lack of accountability? It starts with the coach. And I get a lot of hate on social media, mister, because I've been saying for a long time that Rob Thomson needed to go bye-bye. And I know people love them some Topper. He's everybody's favorite old guy that they want to have a drink with and talk baseball with. But Topper caught lightning in a bottle in 2022. And since then, nothing. Because he doesn't hold them accountable. He doesn't bench a guy for not running out a ground ball. He doesn't, know how to. The great thing about Nick Sirianni is that he leads 100 different ways. If a player isn't performing, he'll get in your face. If a player isn't, living up their expectations, he'll sit them. He will do whatever it takes to get every guy on the same page. Rob Thomson just wants to be everybody's dad, everybody's favorite uncle. I don't know. Self-checkout lines in sports. What? I don't know about that. Phil, are you okay with letting Bond leave in free agency? Am I okay with it? No. I want Zach Bond to be the top priority. But what I will say, Dante, is that I won't be shocked if he leaves in free agency. Howie's already changed his philosophies on a lot of things. Is he going to change his philosophy on paying a linebacker? I don't know. He got a lot. He spent, $4 million on Zach Bond and Oren Burks last year, got a lot out of him. Like $8 million total. If you throw in Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and everybody else, I wouldn't be shocked if he leaves. He's going to pay him 3 years, $50 million. I doubt it. I mean, I want Bond to stay. No doubt about it. But I won't be shocked. And I think, and this is something I've said now for 2 weeks, whatever Howie chooses to do, let Zach Bond walk, fine. I am going to give Howie the benefit of the doubt this entire offseason that every move he makes or doesn't make, he's earned the right for us to trust him. Daryl Morey hasn't given us a reason to trust him. Dave Dombrowski hasn't. Danny Briere hasn't. But Howie Roseman's given us a reason to give him the benefit of the doubt. But Topper gets a lot of wins in the regular season. Nick Sirianni's got a Super Bowl. So you know what? Nick Sirianni is definitely a step above by a long shot. Accountability starts with upper management, and Thomson needs to be less a player's coach and get the locker room leaders on board. Sell the philosophy. Absolutely. Now, at least see, everyone's like, well, Charlie Manuel was a player's manager. He was the good old Uncle Charlie, everybody's best friend. But Charlie Manuel had no problem benching MVP Jimmy Rollins when he wouldn't run out. When they were stretching like 7 or 8, where he benched Jimmy Rollins for like 3 straight games for not running out a ground ball or a pop ball or pop up or something like that. Like Charlie Manuel at least was willing to set the tone and the message. No offense to Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's probably the Phillies' best player, right? How many times has Bryce Harper not run out ground balls? How many times have we seen Bryce Harper not run out a play that got bobbled by the defense? And you know what you get told if you bring that up? Do you really want Bryce Harper running out a ground ball in May and maybe tweaking a hamstring? I want my players to hustle 100% of the time is what I want. And that's the lack of accountability. Delusional, righteous Eagles fans still don't trust him. I don't know what to tell you about those guys, Mitchie Poo. Bond is my bazootin' hoot. I don't know what that actually means. So I don't know what you really feel about bazootin' hoot. How it works in a sport that allows you to pivot away from mistakes way more quickly. That is true. That's a fair statement. That is. That's a very fair statement. I get it. Topper is still the manager, which means the Phillies aren't going to win this year. What are we doing? They're going to win, mister. A lot of regular season games. They're going to win 90 to 95 games. They're going to be second or third in the NL East. They're going to be a wild card team. But when the playoffs roll around, when Red October rolls around, that's when the question comes up. That's when that's when the real disappointment happens. I have assembled my legal team. Yes, we do want satisfaction. We do. I'm honored, but I would get, he would get the corner office. Yeah, is that what it is? Who gets the corner office? I think I get the corner office. It would be nice if I had like a window behind me here in my little corner office in the basement. I get relegated to the basement. I actually like my basement, so it's okay. It's all good. Guys, you're watching Trending the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Recapping here what we're doing today. We're talking a lot of different things. We're talking Phillies lineup. Obviously, Rob Thomson as well. We're talking Sixers. We are. Joel Embiid's knee. Will we ever see Joel Embiid even play again? And we're talking Eagles. Will or would you break the bank? Would you break the bank to bring Myles Garrett, the best potentially available end in football, into Philadelphia next year? And it's going to cost you a lot. That is my question. Phil, you got Moe's in Philly? Like, welcome to Moe's. Moe's Southwest Grill. Love them. Phil's overlays. See, someone at least noticed I did updates on my overlays this weekend. I got new overlays, and I can add different things if I ever get sponsors and all. I got a whole bunch of new overlays for the show this weekend I built. I put blue today. I could do it in red. I could do it in green. I got one for Guests Like Tomorrow. I got new ones for Fairway to Heaven. Made one for the Trending in the PM when that happens with a darker color. I went all out this weekend. Made new overlays for the show. Nobody even noticed. I don't know if I'm into the green screen idea. I like this way. I like the overlays and I like the background. Show off all my Philly stuff. We marching, you mean, to 450. Well, we started at 443. I'm assuming we didn't gain any new ones, but, that's negative Nancy me. Break the bank. Advise the man, Mitch Kowski. I think my overlays are pretty solid. Do I not have good overlays? Joel Embiid, what sport does that guy play? Well, at this moment, I would be shocked if he plays any sport ever again. If here's the thing, and maybe I'm overreacting to this. The guy's knee is shot, but he's out there playing tag at practice on Saturday or Sunday, whenever that video starts circulating the internet. His knee's good enough to play tag. but not basketball. The guy just never took anything seriously. Break the bank for what? As long as there are human beings making decisions, there's always a right to evaluate any GM's move. No one is infallible. Okay. Trust me. Moves. We are going to discuss every move Howie Roseman makes. We are not going to bash him, or we're going to wait till we see the full product before we evaluate him. We're going to wait till we see week one's roster till we say, oh, that was a bad move. Yo, you let Zach Bond go. Well, let's wait till the end and see what happens. We can discuss, but if Zach Bond leaves, there are going to be a bunch of overreactions of F Howie Roseman. How dare he doesn't know what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm saying we need to stay away from. That's what I'm saying. Did we ever see him bowling? I know what you're referencing, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I was wondering how much budget do you think the Eagles have to replace Gainwell? They're not going to spend much. Josh Allen's wasted career on a backup running back. They got Will Shipley in the draft last year. He'll take an increased role, and then they will either draft another late round running back, or they will sign another. They're just you're not investing more than $1 million of your cap in your third string running back. That's it. Joey Bosa going to get cut. Joey Bosa. I hated that. I hate it when he used to say that on the radio. Joey Bosa. Kenny G is a priceless commodity to Kenny Gainwell, and that's it. Please get rid of Huff ASAP. But here's the thing, Dante, how do you do that? You cut him, you trade him, you're taking a huge cap hit for this year, even if you spread it out over the next 2 years. There is a massive issue with getting rid of Bryce Huff. There is. And I don't know how they do it. They're going to have to go really cheap in some other positions if they move off of the Bryce Huff contract. Did you see the clip of Alex Hunt talking how Vic Fangio called out the defense for allowing 22 points in the second half of the Super Bowl on the day of the parade? Love Uncle Vic. I mean, just give Uncle Vic a lifetime contract, right? Uncle Vic is a player's coach, but he also doesn't mind pulling out the yardstick and cracking it over your ass when you don't live up to expectations. Vic Fangio is meant to coach in Philadelphia. He really is. And I love it. And I just love having him here. He's the perfect yin to yang with Nick Sirianni, too. Embiid is what Batman was talking about. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. I don't know. I mean, I know the reference you're making. I don't know. To an extent, I almost feel bad for Joel Embiid. To an extent. If he drafts Chris Rager from Delaware State in the first round, people are still allowed to raise their eyebrows and ask, yeah, what is he doing? But you can't overreact to it, Nooms. Doesn't he get he has built 2 Super Bowl champions and 3 Super Bowl teams in the last 8 years. Doesn't that give you a little bit of leeway to say, yeah, I don't like that move, but I trust that his big picture plan is going to work out in the end? That's what I'm getting at. You got to have trust because he's earned that trust in me by giving me 2 Super Bowls in the last 8 years, by 3 Super Bowl appearances in the last 8 years. He's earned my trust that his plan will work. There is a plan. How about I phrase it? He's earned my trust that he has a plan. It might not work out, but I'm going to see what the plan is before I criticize him. Just because of one move doesn't mean that the season's over already. Trade Huff for DeAndre Swift. I mean, DeAndre Swift is the third running back on this year. Be a good counter in case something happens to Saquon. I saw somebody do the numbers on the last 8 or 10 running backs that touched the ball as much as Saquon Barkley did this past year and how many of them had bad follow-up seasons. Got injured, whatnot. Are we concerned about Saquon's workload this past year and what that means for next year? Does that increase the importance to need a solid running back that can actually Because we're not, if something happens to Saquon, you're not starting Will Shipley, are you? You need a quality other running back, don't you? I don't know. It's something to think about, just so you know. Shipley finally stepped up. Finally, he was a rookie. Would you take Myles Sanders back? Myles Sanders is washed, but as a third-string running back, I mean, you could do worse. I think Swift might get cut too, for sure. There's a chance. Do your dogs bark at garbage trucks? I don't know. Huff is here for the next 2 years. Deal with it. He's here for at least the next year. That is for sure, Kaylon. I shouldn't say for sure. I believe he is most likely here next year. Maybe Myles as Barkley's backup in Philly again. You have Barkley as your running back. You have Will Shipley as your change of pace second back. And then you have Myles sitting there, or DeAndre Swift, in case Barkley goes down. It could be worse. I mean, he is washed, but, as a third guy, maybe. I could see Uncle Vic telling the defense, how do you follow up a pick six with 2 explosive 50-yard touchdowns? Unacceptable. Yeah. I can say it. I got a brand new pair of roller skates as you bumper song. What? If Myles is washed, then Kenny G is washed, dried, and folded. Fangio is passionate about defense. I love a man that is completely bought in. That's Mamba mentality. Vic Fangio might have a little bit of that Mamba mentality to him, for sure. Eagles' needs are not too bad and clear. Edge, O-line. Yeah, we got needs. Every team does. Shipley stinks. Why would you say that? You don't know. We could draft a quality running back in the 6th, 7th round, sure. Players are going to be on the board. Don't be surprised to see less running in the beginning of the Eagles season. That I can buy into. I can see that. No, I do not think A.J. Brown remembers me. But the advice I imparted on A.J. Brown at the football camp last summer is directly related to, before I met A.J. Brown was never a Super Bowl champion. A.J. Brown met me and then went on to win a Super Bowl. Coincidence? I think not. I firmly believe that I am the direct responsible for the Eagles winning the Super Bowl because of that one chance meeting with A.J. Brown. Why would you pay a vet minimum? Vet minimum or a rookie minimum, whatever it is, I don't know. Yeah. Dante Foreman in Philly would be fire. We don't need a fire running back. We have a fire running back, okay? Just draft a few and bring in undrafted free agents and see what you got. I'm just bringing up the simple fact that Saquon Barkley is about to follow in the footsteps of quite a few running backs that either got hurt or struggled. There, a couple of them averaged like 3.5 yards a carry the year after. A couple of them got injured. Very rarely did someone touch the ball as much as Saquon Barkley did in 2024 and then follow it up with another great season. Just saying. The Phil Stiefel effect. Something to that. The Phil Stiefel effect is special. Phil is the reason AJ read Inner Excellence. I wasn't going to tell anybody that, but yeah, I kind of pushed that on him. Cowboys cry. He didn't quit. He retired. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Bring back Jordan Howard. Yeah. The Jordan Howard hype train was always something special, right? Everybody loved them. Some Jordan Howard for some reason. Phil is also the reason why Kellen Moore left Philly. What did I do? I didn't meet Kellen Moore, so I don't know. DeMarcus Lawrence, any good? Free agent? I don't know who the free agents are yet. We'll get to free agency. Maybe if I have time today. I doubt I will. But by the end of this week, I'll have a list of all the available free agents in my notebook that I might want. I need to have something to rant about, I guess. I don't have a rant today. I guess if anything to rant about, I mean, I wrote one thing down here, and it's not even a rant. It's more of a comment that someone made. And there's a comment that I don't think is getting enough circulation, I guess is the word, that Paul George was asked after Saturday his advice to Joel Embiid to deal with all the knee pain and knee issues and stuff like that. And Paul George's answer was, well, drugs help. I was just kind of shocked that Paul George said that and nobody reacted to it. Like just admitting that, take some drugs, just the way he said it. Phillies have a top 5 infield in baseball and top 3 pitching rotation. I definitely agree top 3 pitching rotation in baseball. Top 5 infield, I mean, I'd have to compare it to the other infields, but borderline, close to that, sure. Bryson Stott's a question mark still to me, just in my opinion. But we'll see. I mean, Bryson Stott did talk about how he was hurt most of last year and played through it all. So that's a problem. Guys, make sure you're hitting that like button and that subscribe button and that share button. I greatly appreciate it. There should be at least 20 likes on this video. We should have more than 443 subscribers, so I'd greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe if you could, guys. If Barkley gets a minor injury, I trust our coaching staff to figure out a new rushing, passing schedule to erase the work, ease the work. Yeah. That's why I kind of like Jalen Hurts MVP next year, maybe. Videos already floating around. Jalen Hurts out there working out already for next season, going through footwork drills already. You kind of got to like that, right? Jordan Howard's knee may be better shape than Charles. But we might be able to agree on that one, Nooms, for sure. Joel's knee is maybe the worst knee of all time. Turner leading off today. Good for him. Good for him. Kyle Schwarber led off yesterday. So, yeah. We need to keep either Bond or Burks while Dean is down. Yeah. I mean, Burks is a nice backup option if you lose Zach Bond. I just don't know if I'm ready to believe that Howie Roseman will pay $50 million to a linebacker. I just don't. Safety room is getting a huge benefits from the linebacker and cornerback play, but we still need to get that room tightened up a bit. Yeah, I still don't know what to think about the safety room. I don't know what to think about Reed Blankenship. Is he really that good or not? Still think maybe safety might be the most overrated position on the Eagles at this point. We need Elon Musk to buy the Sixers and send front office a resignation email. No, I don't want Elon Musk anywhere near it. I thought Paul George was going to pull a Kurt Angle and bad. I'm sorry. I know Kurt Angle. I don't get the reference with Kurt Angle. I know Kurt Angle was a drug addict for a while, but that's about it. 3 All-Stars in the infield and Stott Gold Glove level defense, and when he's healthy, he'll bat 280 or higher. You are just so I love Rick. I love you, Rick. I love how positive you are. Always. I do. I love it. Damn, I hate when that happens. What? All these notifications up in your show. Yeah, gotcha. That was a weak rant. I don't have a rant today. I don't. I'm tired is what I am today. Can't rant when I'm tired. What is Hurts going to do while his lady at work? He might as well go out and work out and throw the ball around like a proper house husband. I like that. I like that. You can enjoy yourself for a minute or two. We all know, Jalen Hurts enjoying himself is probably working out. So what's not fire? I don't know. The issue of Stott is bat speed. Even healthy, he has one of the slowest bats in the league. Maybe. I'm not sure. Why you keep doubting Reed? He had 4 or 5 picks this year. It's not that I doubt him. I don't know, something just eye test wise. I don't know if he's just a product of the system. Like, if you take Reed Blankenship off and go put him on another defense, is he really even that good? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is with him. He just doesn't pass my eye test. He makes a lot of big plays, but he also gets beat a lot. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Blankenship have the same flaw. They tend to play out of position too much and miscommunicate coverage. Yeah. They're boom-bust players. Rick is at the denial stage of grief. He might be. Did the Eagles move Ben Van Summer back to linebacker? I would love the Eagles to just make Ben Van Summer an unofficial fullback. Dude, I'm tired, man. Tired. Had a latte way too late in the day yesterday. And that made it very difficult for me to sleep last night. Phil's notifications. I don't send you notifications, okay? That is your phone or the app that you have, okay? If you don't get a notification, that is not my fault. I cannot force send you a notification. We have been at acceptance for years. I've been accepting a lot for years. A lot of things in life for years. PG probably replied, Embiid, a bad knee. I had a broken freaking pinky on his non-shooting hand. That was the Kurt Angle. Okay. I had a broken freaking pinky. Gotcha. Won an Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck. It's true. It's damn true. Until he went to TNA and he said, it's real. It's damn real. Because he didn't have the rights. It's been years. It's been years since I haven't, that I've had, the acceptance of everything in my life. How does Phil keep us entertained without Eagles content? I don't know. I mean, I've brought Eagles a bit in the conversation today. And again, we've got two great guests lined up this week to get different insight. We've got Dale Carlson, and you guys, the regulars know, Coach Dale is a great guest. He brings a coach's mindset to the conversation. He'll be joined about 8:30 tomorrow for 20, 30 minutes, talking about Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, what the important target for a quarterback coach will be. So he'll do that. And then we got Chris Franklin on Thursday, and we'll get his opinion on what he thinks the Eagles will do with free agency in the draft, etc. And maybe some Eagles news will happen by then when Chris Franklin joins the show on Thursday. So we got some good guests lined up this week. We did. Van Summer is a good enough athlete to play linebacker, but he's a better offensive threat. And without sponsors, need to get that subscriber count up before I even ask somebody to sponsor. Marshawn got ADHD, attention span, while trying to understand baseball. It's Major League Baseball strategy, not NBA. Because smoke a bowl and slow it down, open up your mind. Oh, my God. Now we're taking personal attacks at each other. The Rock and Roll Express, what? Bring back Renee Washington and my boy. I've been meaning to hit up Parcero. I have. And Renee, yeah. Thinking about hitting her up. For baseball content, I did reach out to John Foley. And he's just a little busy right now. He said to reach back out in a couple of weeks. And then he'll come on. I do got to hit up Parcero. So I will see if I can get Parcero. I don't even know what he's doing work-wise now that he's not with PHLY, so I don't know if he could do mornings or not. But I will reach out to him. I believe in Joe Hendry. I do not. I walk with Elijah. That's what I'll say. I'd rather walk with Elijah than believe in Joe Hendry. But please, again, guys, like, subscribe, share. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. Swallow my pride. Hit up Big Sills. Pass. I don't know. It would be an interesting conversation, wouldn't it, K1? If I did a show with Big Sills, because we disagree on so much, it would be a very interesting conversation, would it not? And it's not a swallow of pride. I just feel bad asking people that I've trashed too much to come on the show. I'm down to yeah, aren't we all? I got to work though. Joe Hendry is greater than Joel Embiid. Well, everybody is. I saw that tweet when the guy was complaining that you were stereotyping Italians. I think he was triggered because he's in the mafia living a double life. Yeah, maybe he's in the witness protection program right now, and that's why. Phil and Sills would be great. It would be interesting. I don't even know what that would be like. I don't even know how to do it. Because when I have a guest on, I try to be very professional, and I try to be very, accommodating to them. And I let them be the star of the show. But I don't know if I could do that with Big Sills. Maybe you guys got to tell Big Sills to have me on his show. Maybe that's what you guys should do. Is the final boss a heel? Dude, let me tell you something. I knew SmackDown was going to suck. I got suckered in and reeled in again because of The Rock. And as I knew, The Rock segment on SmackDown on Friday was the worst part of that show. It was god-awful. It was just dumb, pointless. I have no clue what's going on. I will not watch wrestling probably through the rest of Mania season. No interest. I'd rather watch highlights of TNA. I can't get access. I don't get access TV on YouTube. So, it was just pointless, pathetic. It was dumb. And I knew it was going to be dumb. And I still got suckered into watching it. And that promo from The Rock with god-awful acting from Cody Rhodes was literally some of the most cringe wrestling content in ages. And I tweeted out about it. And people were like, oh, it was great. It was awesome. It was not awesome. It was awful. W sucks. It does. This has got to be one of the worst buildups to WrestleMania I've ever seen. In ages. It literally in ages. Who cares? The Hardy boys have worked. Jeff Hardy or Matt Hardy's knee is probably worse than Joel Embiid's knee at this point. And Jeff Hardy, yeah, I hate to break it to you, Mitchie Pooh. I'm just going to say this right now. Jeff Hardy, the most overrated superstar of all time. Plain and simple. He should have been blackballed from wrestling and kicked out of wrestling for good when he showed up high as a kite to his TNA title match against Sting. And if you don't know what that is, well, I know you would know, then you got to look at it. Like, ever since then, I never got the hype on Hardy, Jeff Hardy. I always said Matt Hardy was better than Jeff Hardy. But ever since that moment, nah, pass. Maybe if they wrestled for real, it wouldn't. Yeah, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Yeah, that was really bad. I want you to be my special little champion. I want your soul. It was just awkward. He stumbled over his words. Like he didn't know where he was going. Stupid. Did you know that Myles Garrett scored 31 on the Wonderlic test? He's a genius and a freak athlete. Rolled into one. Is 31 good on a Wonderlic test? What's it? 31 out of what? WWE sucked after WrestleMania last year. I love Paul Levesque's leadership. Yeah, his leadership's great. The stories just have not been great. The problem is he's stuck with no superstars. No, like, real superstars. So Jeff Hardy as a solo wrestler ain't it, but as a tag team with his brother, he is elite in his role. Never saw Jeff Hardy get the hot tag and me get excited. The problem with WWE currently is that they are trying to live off of old superstars from the early 2000s. Yeah. Wonderlic's a scale 50, so 31 out of 50 is great. I don't know. But okay. Can you take the Wonderlic test like as a common person? I think that would be a funny piece of content, me trying to take the Wonderlic test. Yeah, WWE's just, look, I'm out. I'm out on WWE. There's literally, I'll watch highlights. I'll keep up on, social media on what's going on. But me watching anything right now, wrestling related, just can't do it. I think, what did I watch on Saturday night? I think I watched reruns of, I think I watched National Treasure. 31 out of 50 is a top 5 percentile. Wow. So who is this public knowledge? Who has the greatest, highest Wonderlic? Was that Ryan Fitzpatrick that had the highest Wonderlic score of all time? Wonderlic measures your ability to think under deadline, stress, time box. I know it was a test. I just didn't know about what. It said their top wrestlers have the look and zero personality. That's true. Do it, Phil. Wonderlic. I don't know. Can you do it? Can you take the Wonderlic test online? I don't know. I think Wentz was high 40s. Wow. Okay. Well, that tells me all I need to know there. Can I get better than a 0 on the Wonderlic test, do you think, guys? Could we take bets on where my score would be on the Wonderlic test? How can I do the Wonderlic test and live stream taking the test? I don't know. I got to figure this out. I'm writing this down. Wonderlic test. Take it. I'm gonna Google and figure this out after the show. How I take the Wonderlic test. Because I would like to see how I perform there. We always see guys around the combine, content creators, doing 40-yard dashes and running drills. We never see content creators try to take the Wonderlic test. So that might be something on the incoming future. Anyone can take it? Okay. I've never even looked it up. But guess what? We're going to look it up after the show, and I'm going to try to figure it out. I want to say Ryan Fitzpatrick had a really high score on the Wonderlic test, but I could be wrong on that. But anyway. All right, guys. You're watching Trend in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe and share button. Just like the top of the screen says, hit those buttons. I appreciate it. You can take the mock test online. It's a time limit, and it makes you sweat. Well, we're gonna see if we could do this live on the air someday. Phil, get talking free agency during free agency period. Honestly, we will. You said that last week, and I disagreed with you. You didn't have to just because I disagreed with you last time you said that doesn't mean you have to tell me again. Because I still disagree with you. Ability to process and do versus lead and teach, two completely different skill sets. Someday, because I got all this free time in the world, K1. I mean, I'm literally working 7 days a week right now. I've got a guest coming on tomorrow. I already told you that. You know, Coach Dale Carlson, so can't be doing it tomorrow. Jey Uso, at best in the 2000s, would have been as over as Hurricane Helms for Eugene. Nothing more, and they're trying to make him a top guy. I do not buy Jey Uso as a main event guy. The yeet is annoying as hell. I want to do the whole thing. I'm gonna live stream. We're gonna do a trending in the PM. Me live streaming the Wonderlic test. I just don't know when. Does guest know? No, dude. You know who the guest is. You've listened to him before. And don't flood the questions with a million Godfather Goodfellas things. Bring real questions for Coach Dale Carlson tomorrow. Because that's what matters. Guys, it's time to start the wrap-up process. What will we talk about tomorrow outside of the time with Dale Carlson? I don't know. I don't even know what the title of tomorrow's show is going to be. But Jey Uso getting this push in hopes to strengthen the bloodline story. I'm so over the bloodline storyline, too. At least when Roman Reigns was champion, it was who was going to beat him. But, yeah. Solo Sikoa, terrible. Jacob Fatu is entertaining, but I don't know if he's a main event guy. There's not one storyline right now in wrestling that makes me want to be like, got to see what happens. We'll flood the chat with Wonderlic questions, yeah. No. 8 more minutes of value. I give you as much time as I want, and that's it. Got to sprinkle the Godfather question. He's already asked the question, or been asked the question. I just don't remember his answer, but so I can't ask it again. Yeah, you could do that, okay? You can Wonderlic my. All right? With that being said, it's time to wrap it up, guys. Fantastic show today. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you all very much for tuning in. What will tomorrow's title be? I don't know. What you got to do is you got to give me tips on titles. I don't know. Got to figure that out. But anyway, this is the hard part of the offseason when I'm trying to come up with titles every single day for this show. Well, you can go back and Google it because I'm not going to ask it again, just so you know. There you go on that. I'm not asking that tomorrow of him, just so you know. And I'll just ignore those questions from you, Josh Allen's wasted career. Just like my time with you, Josh Allen, is wasted. But guys, like, subscribe, share. Ask him the flats or drums question. Yeah, there you go. It's a different one. Anyway, too many storylines. Let's ring work create the dynamics of a storyline. Look, wrestling's just not good anymore. Plain and simple. It's boring. It is plain and simple. No reason for me to watch or care about wrestling anymore. I don't know. What do I care less about? The Sixers season or wrestling right now? And it might be the wrestling that I care less about, honestly, at this point. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up right here. If you're watching on replay, I will get comment. I will answer your comments on replay as well. Eric will vouch that I see every replay comment where your opinions matter, unless they're about. No, it's where your opinions matter, but doesn't mean I have to agree with your opinion. Oh, really? I had no idea. WrestleMania is coming, so there is that. Really hard to sit through anything that it is. It's bad. Anyway, guys, with that being said, it's over. Today is over. So with that being said, have a great Monday, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, right here on Trend in the AM on the STT Sports Network. Go Birds! Bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, pop.